When people join the Cure team, they can watch this movie and learn how their interests will affect their ability to participate on the Cure team. That's what the meeting's about. And so we have the list of interests up, and after I make this movie and put it up, Franny is going to embed it on the scale of interests page. So Franny, if you have the scale of interests page on your smartphone there, and you're looking at it, you'll see that there's a movie of Angela, and that movie's going to move to the bottom of that page, and this movie's going to be where the Angela movie is. And her movie will be at the very bottom below the scale.
Which page is this again?
Ross?
Yes?
Would you tell Franny what page to go to? She doesn't know what page to go to.
For the scale of interest.
Well, I have it printed out here, and there's no video of Angela on it unless you put it there somewhere.
So I guess you need to go online then, Bono.
Okay.
And look at it there. How are you doing today, Anna?
Doing great.
Okay. You forgot the meeting?
You know, when everyone said 12:30, I was thinking my time, not yours.
Really?
So I got confused.
I think it multiple times.
It's
Always translate.
It's always my time, and then everybody calculates it from there. So you know now that it's always my Bayard, 12:30 Bayard time. Bayard lives in a dream world. He's in a virtual reality. He actually thinks people want to cure things and that this is going to tip at some point. And that we can even cause that to happen. So Bayard's crazy. He's nuts. He's just totally nuts.
What do you mean, no?
Bayard is not crazy.
No, he just spoke to you. Yes.
Okay, so anyway, that's the purpose of this meeting. This is what we're going to do. By the way, Barb, you've been looking very nice lately. I like the things you've been wearing.
I was saying the same thing to myself.
These
There.
white things you wear, it's very nice.
And what you wear with you?
Oh, thank you. Actually, I got this is a present from Gerald Stanton. The shirt.
It's very nice.
White is very becoming to Bob. I requested it. Whitish? Oh, thank you.
You know, it's interesting that both Barb and I like wearing other people's clothing. We find that, first of all, we can get things we never could get anyplace else. And also that we find these very special things.
Right.
You know, and also we have the energy of the person with us.
Yeah, it's true.
Like I wear Franny's clothes. A lot of my things were given to me by Franny.
I have a couple of your shirts here. They feel really good when I wear them.
That's right. I gave you some stuff you gave. I have a bunch of things you gave me.
Oh, really? Yeah, and then Celeste told me that I was a winter. It reminded me. She thought I was, so I'm wearing white more.
Okay, so we might as well get started.
Okay.
Now, everybody test, like Anna being late because she didn't know that the meeting was in my time. Does that have anything to do with Anna's interests? Like, did her interests cause her to miss that? Everybody test. What do you guys get? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Anna, what'd you get?
No.
Okay.
I was listening to you on the homepage at the time. I was pretty interested, I thought.
Okay. Does it seem to you that when you're interested, you you know things like how to judge the time when somebody says a time?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna talk about is that a lot of the things that we see that look like really serious problems that people have, and obviously what you just evidenced, this little symptom, is not like a hugely serious problem, you know? It's just but a lot of the things that look like enormous problems, like the person is on the wrong dimension, or they're a negative beingness, or whatever, you start to suspect all these things about them. It really just comes down to what they're interested in. So let's talk about how to use this list. What I used to think is that you would test yourself on the list and you'd say, what am I interested in? Success. Okay, so I'm here. But that's wrong. What you actually do is look at the totality of people's behaviors over time. Like you go back, like, what's Greg been doing for the last 3 weeks? And then you say, okay, so around where is he on this scale of interests? Get it?
Yes.
That's how you use it.
Okay.
And or what's Greg been doing for the last, 20 years? You could do that. And by the way, the fact that you were listening to, a curing talk does not necessarily mean that you are at a high interest level.
Okay.
Now, Anna, do you have any idea why that would be? How could that be? What might it be? Look at the scale of interest.
Okay.
I have it on my smartphone, so I don't have to try messing with the computer screen. So look at all the way up and down the scale of interests. Okay?
Okay.
Let's say that you're on a very low level of interest. Might you still be watching a movie about curing things?
Yeah, that's possible.
In which case, what would that be? Look at the very low level here. It's the switching area.
Okay, really. Yeah, you could be on a real interest. That'll be a low level.
Thank you. Yes, you could be in a real interest. Okay? Like right now, your current real interest is curing, the Cure Drive, the Cure team, and 3 years from now, you'll be in another cult with other interests. And they'll all be real interests. It's possible. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's possible. Or actually, you could just be interested in your health and listening to a movie on curing because of that. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Speaking of which, you know the pregnant woman you talked to?
Yes.
She called me twice in the last day.
She told me.
Who did?
Yeah, she called me back too, and she told me she left messages.
Okay, so then you know she's watched several movies, she's getting signals, she's trying to remove it from her spiral body.
Uh-huh.
And how interested are you in her?
So, do you want me to look on the list?
Try that. Okay, look on the list.
Sorry.
Where does my interest in her fall on the list?
Oh, okay. Where does my interest in which list? Like switching or?
No, just look at the whole thing from top to bottom. Which of the 4 areas does it fall in? Test manifesting area, functioning area. Which does it fall in?
Functioning.
Okay. So that means that your interest in her is you're interested in getting support from her, are you?
Yeah.
And giving, you see underneath functioning area it says getting support, empowerment.
Right, I see that.
Giving ability, resources, and gifts, okay? So you're interested in getting support from her.
Right.
Okay. And are you expressing love by talking to her?
Yes.
So you test that.
Yes.
All right, well then that's good. So actually, it's possible, I'm not saying this is true either, but it's possible that this program that we've created for you of putting your phone number on YouTube movies that aren't your movies, and just putting your phone number out there on the web, letting people call you, that it is putting you in the functioning area of the scale and having you operate there. Maybe you were already there, now this is giving you a chance to actually be there. Get it?
Yeah.
Does that seem real to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, good. All right, so we're learning something about using the scale, aren't we?
Right.
This is, we just use the scale. This is a way to use the scale to understand something about yourself. It's not necessarily conclusive, okay? Not necessarily conclusive, but it's definitely good information though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
It really, Anna, clears up, it gives you something, what we were talking about last night about how to talk to somebody, and what level you're on, and what really is going on in a relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Your place, you were thinking you shouldn't be bold, you shouldn't be this, you should. That was in the past, though, right?
Okay, well, let's try this, okay? Another part of your program is handing out bumper stickers. Now, I'm going to do two things, and let's say I'm going to be you, and I'm just going to illustrate two things, and I want you to test where they are, what area they're in, okay? So the first one is your person. I walk up to you. Hi, I'm with the Cure Drive. We're like, we help people cure things, and I was wondering if you're interested in that, and perhaps you'd like one of these bumper stickers.
Sure.
Cut. Okay. Now, what area is that?
All right, let me see.
There's only 4 of them.
Operating.
Okay. Now, I'm going to do another illustration, okay? Walk up to you. Actually, you're on the median of the highway. You look at me. You rolled your window down so I can talk to you. And I say, because here everybody has their window rolled up. It's hot. It's air conditioning, I don't know what Grass Valley's like, but people here have their windows rolled up. They roll them down to talk to you if they want to talk to you. So, okay. Please put this on your car so that people know that they can cure things and or donate something. Okay, what level is that?
That would be the functioning area.
Okay, why?
Because of getting support, asking for support, resources, gifts.
That's right. Now, you were also right about the first one. It's the operating area. And in the operating area, when you walked up and said, "Hi, I'm with the Cure Drive," what were you doing? It's right here. It says so, right under operating.
Yeah, trading and exchanging.
And you were representing. You see it? Hi, I'm with the Cure Drive. We da-da-da-da. You're representing. You walk over with a smile on your face, a little shoe polish on your shoes. Hi. I'd like to introduce you to, you're representing. Now, why is it better to be on a higher level?
Because you can act with more wisdom.
Why else?
Pardon?
Why else? Okay, that's good. Why else?
Okay, with more of a broader perspective.
Barb, go on mute. Thank you. Yes, but what about for the person you're talking to? Why is it better?
That you'll be able to respond to them from a better place.
See, here's the thing. I understand what you're doing. You're making it all about you. If you notice, every answer that you've given is, I can do this, I can do that, I'm going to be able to respond better. You know, it's all about you. Now, what area is it when it's all about you?
Let's see, well, it's a lower area, yeah.
Which
Do
one?
you want-
Why don't you just test which area?
Okay, let's see. Switching?
Okay, you got a test on switching.
Yeah,
Okay, then let's put it this way.
okay.
You've been doing all this good stuff, and like you're talking to this woman who's pregnant, and it looks like you have a chance at being functional. Like you could change, because maybe you have been. See, you know, remember when you were testing that you and I have worked together many times before
Uh-huh.
in other lives? That doesn't necessarily mean that either of us were in very good shape at those times.
Okay.
We were probably doing something worthwhile and noble, and we were probably in good shape in some of them. But, you know, you can't take that as a, you know, carte blanche, like we've got it handled, you know. When you joined the Cure team, you might have been down here in the miserable, you know, well, I mean, look, you just got a herpes outbreak. After not having a herpes outbreak for a year and a half, you start to advance yourself and go up in your interest levels. You probably are rising, and you slam right on your face. You get it? You understand?
Yeah.
Now test, is that another force trying to stop me?
I got, yeah.
Is that me trying to stop me?
No.
Okay. So there's some other force trying to stop you. All right, good information to know.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, you got shit in your life. Horrible shit that you're only scratching the surface of, that has to be confronted and dealt with and passed through. And this
Right.
is a matter of interest. What are you interested in? Are you interested in confronting and dealing with this horrible shit and passing through it? Because if not, you won't be a very good, you know, asset to the Cure team. Now, something I wanted to tell everybody that I have realized recently, I think it helps us that we can see each other's faces during these meetings. And other things too, like right now Greg is, you know, leaning over, he's eating or whatever. And it helps to know that he's doing that. You know, we're with each other because we're on video in a way that we can't be with each other if we're not on video.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Definitely.
And because of that, we can only have 9 people on video, and that means we can only have 9 people on the Cure team. And right now, we've got 6, including me. We have 3 spaces on the Cure team. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you what Coach Wooden said, John Wooden. At the beginning, he was talking on a preface to one of the business books that he wrote with somebody else. He wrote books with one of his old players. And the player was not an author, he's a movie producer. But he decided that he needed to work out his relationship with Wooden, because he had a love-hate relationship with Wooden. He hated Wooden. He wouldn't go to the reunion. He wasn't going. Another player said, "No, you've got to come. You're so important." And this guy, this movie producer, he was saying, "But he never let me play in a single game. 4 years of college I went through, and I was on that team, and I never got to play even once." And at the beginning of this business book, John Wooden says, all other things being equal, it is usually the team with the best players who wins. There's just no other way to spin it. You can't like do all these things to compensate for it. You have to have the best players. And if we're only going to have 9 people on the Cure team, we've got to have the best players on the Cure team. Now, right now, if you're not such a good player, you can hang out on the Cure team, because we have 3 openings. If those openings closed and somebody came along who was really great, we would have to drop one of the members of the Cure team to accommodate that person. And I'll tell you what Franny was saying to me yesterday, and Greg, you can comment on this. She said that you and her should not be on the Cure team, that you're really not up to it, and that you're like support people for me and you can't handle being on the Cure team. Now, do you feel that you can't handle being on the Cure team?
No, I don't feel that I can't handle being on the Cure team. There's a double negative. I can handle being on the Cure team. Again, it's a matter of interest. There's the Cure team, and then there's other interests. And I think Franny's talking about that we both have some other interests.
So now, that's what we have to launch into talking about. Because, you know what Franny was saying, like, Franny has often said to me, like, this is not her thing. It's not her life. It's not her thing. And she also feels that way about the things she does for her father. And a lot of times when she does something, she'll say, well, I made your graphic for you. I did this for you. I did that for you. And it's not for her. It's not her project. Now, Greg, is that the way you feel?
Any project I do, I feel is my project. That can be a problem, because when I say what's really my project, I become more and more that it is the Cure team. So it's anything that needs to be done for the Cure team. But I think in my life, I've always done things that needed to be done, and I was there, and I was dutiful to try to make things work out for everybody. I was a good son. And when I really was left to my own, I would follow what I really kind of felt, and that's when I became a dancer. I knew I was not going to have a great career starting at 22 or 23. You don't do that. But that's what I knew was me. I just knew it, so that's me.
Okay, let's go. This could get really, lengthy, so you've answered my question. I don't know exactly what your answer means, but that's okay. I don't really need to know. It helped me think, and it helped me see something, so I'll just, because what we're really trying to do is understand how to use this scale to understand ourselves better, so that we are better Cure team members. This meeting is not about you figuring out whether you should be on the Cure team or not.
Sure.
Okay? So let's look at the top area, which is called manifesting. This is the manifesting area. And when you're at this area, you are so interested in the thing that you are doing that you manifest with regard to that thing. Like you and I know that you and Franny are both major manifestors. You attract, like when you want something, you usually get it. You know, you manifest great things coming at you. But funny thing, we've never manifested an ally. Me either. You know, what's that about? Why haven't we? You know, it seems like, you know, we ought to be, even just the three of us, you and me and Franny, with our manifesting abilities, we should probably be sufficient to manifest an ally without any, one of us could probably do it. Like Franny was talking to me today, and she was telling me that she did a session with Ross, and she discovered why she feels like it's so hard to talk to people, because it feels like a test to her. Like everything feels like a test, and she's got to perform, and she's scared and so on. You know, so obviously that, if you think of that in terms of interest, that would be like, it would be a kind of a switched self-worth interest. You see down here? In the
I think the three of us are probably a lot of times just operating for one thing rather than anywhere else.
That's right. That's right. With each other.
When I think of having
That's right.
an ally, I think of gracefully receiving and working with this person, and we've been so intent on just doing. At least I have now. I feel I'm more able to get an ally now. And I was talking about Tom Todoroff the other day.
Right.
So,
Okay, so in the operating area, these kinds of things are, you know, well, what you were talking about before about how you do things,
yeah.
I think you're trading and exchanging. You're not actually giving. You're trading. Like so much of the stuff you do is like a trade. I'll give you this, and then I'll go do what I want.
Yeah.
And it's like your way of holding on to the people that you love. You know, that's your. But it's an interest level.
Yeah.
It's that you're only that interested in the people that you love. You're not more interested in them. Like up here where relationship is, maybe you're not there. Maybe you get up there sometimes and it's a peak experience. And it's like, wow, and it burns you out, Greg, and then you just, you know, fall back into the way you were, and you don't. Like Franny was saying, you called her, you made this wonderful call, you talked to her, you're telling her you love her. You didn't talk to her for 3 weeks after that. It's like, what happened? Where'd you go?
Well, it's a vacation after that, you know.
You needed a vacate, right, okay. All right, good. So we're getting somewhere here. We're understanding what we've got. You know, we have to understand, people who join the Cure Team need to understand that if you're on the Cure Team, it doesn't mean you're not sick. It means that you are addressing the real sickness, or you at least have agreed to. Maybe you're not, but you have agreed. Because one of the Cure Team agreements is to cure what you have to cure so you can be a good member of the Cure Team. So now, let's go up here to the manifesting area, and I'm going to show you something. Do you see in the manifesting area it says mission?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys all know that most people, when they talk about their mission, they have absolutely no idea what their mission is.
Correct. No.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Anna, what's your mission in this lifetime? Haven't thought much about it, right?
Not, I can put it into words.
Well, the funny thing is, like, you just listened to the question I asked you, and I said, what's your mission in this lifetime? Actually, your mission is, it's written in stone when you're on the pre-zero dimension. You know how they sometimes say God created you for a purpose? People say that.
Right.
Well, when God creates you on the pre-zero dimension, that's where you get created. That's where you get your mission. And a lot of your nature, your original nature, comes from there. So there's this question in Zen, you know, what was your original nature before, you know, you came into this life? And there's another question, what was your original face that you had before your mother conceived you? And sometimes when people are asked that question, they can see their original face for a minute. They sort of glimpse themselves. But let me tell you that what we are doing here on the Cure team in this, for you, this is your mission in this lifetime. And I really do mean in this lifetime, because we've done a lot of things. I'm one of the people who created Rome. Now I read, like I was reading, like, oh, I listened to a lecture, this guy gave a lecture on Rome. And Rome was a business, okay? Rome was like Microsoft back in the day, okay? Rome was the Microsoft of its time, you know? And, you know, at the time, it served a purpose. And with all the horrible stuff that happened, Rome was still, it was actually a model for a successful business. And a lot of business people, like, you know, they study history, and one of the histories they study is the Romans and how the Romans did things. Like, you have to ask, like, why did Rome beat Carthage? And one reason is it was their management system. Their management system was just better. Carthage had a terrible management system. Like, there wasn't anybody in charge. The generals didn't have empowerment. It was just awful. You know, the Romans had very strict rules about, like, everybody had to serve in the legions. You know, you did your military service. That's how you earned your citizenship, and so on and so forth. Slaves could become citizens if they became, you know, good soldiers and so on. You know, they had all kinds of, like, perks. I mean, it was, to a large extent, a meritocracy. And, you know, by the way, Anna, now that you have your, you know, your Netflix thing, watch the movie Rome. It was a series. It's in 2 parts. It is so much fun. You will love it. It's so much fun. And it's just, it really makes so many points. And one of them is, like, Julius Caesar, like, finds this guy, his nephew, you know, and he realizes this guy is the next emperor. He's the one who should be, he can do for Rome what I want to see happen for Rome. And it's Marcus Aurelius. You know? And he's this kid, he's 14. And he's brilliant. He's a strategist. You know, he has objectivity. He's like, he's insightful, he's perceptive, he's everything he needs to be. And he's crazy, of course, about it too, but anyway, oh, it's just a wonderful series. And they really, like, whoever wrote this thing really understood it, you know? And it has these 2 characters in it. They're these 2 legionnaires, and they're everywhere you want to be in Rome, these guys. And it is just so much fun to watch them. Anyway, I won't tell you any more about it, because I could go on and on about it. But, okay, so this is your mission, what we are doing. But see, if you're not, suppose though that you're down here, like, that's what Franny is saying. Like Greg has positive interests, acting, these are positive things. acting is one, and Greg comes in and he says, you know, my acting classes are helping me. They're helping me talk to people. You know, they're because I just feel much more, you know, like able. And you can watch Greg play a role and you see that it is true, you know. So what's wrong with positive interest? What's wrong with this picture? See, now Greg could say, well, no, my mission in this life is to be an actor. Do you think that's true, Greg? Is your mission in life to be an actor? Do you test it when you test?
No, I've never seen it as my mission. I thought that at one point it was very strong, but that was a long time ago, it was years ago. But it was not my mission. I knew it then.
I'll tell you one thing that I know about you, that I have, what I've observed, like when you were living here, like you have a lot of interests, and I never actually saw how they focused on the issue. So that's what like you'd read books about this, that, and the other thing, and you're like very intellectual, you know, and you love to read and you love books and you get this whole stack of books out of the library
and then I don't read them.
Well, you read some of them, or you read a few pages from each one, and you get these things out of them. You get ideas. I have to tell you something else about Greg while I'm thinking about it, is that Greg is magic with supporting me in my mission. Greg has given me the books, like at key points. And I told you a story about Ed Lewis and how he bought me that book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Greg has given me like 2 or 3 of those that like totally like forged me in the fires of these books as the person I am. One of them was The Coming Plague.
Yeah, I remember that one.
He got it for me and handed it to me, and I looked at it and I went, oh shit. And that was when I knew what we had to do. And you see, you have to understand something, that like ending disease on the planet is actually not our mission. It is a submission for this lifetime. That we will, like I'm telling you, we created Rome. Back then that was the thing to do. Like we had a hand in creating Rome. You know, right now we have a hand in this, because this is the thing to do now. And all of this is about our mission, which really our mission is God, you know, and it is, you know, causing people to experience God. That's what we do in various ways, you know. Everybody's mission is some aspect of that. So now we come to Cure Team members. Tell me something, Barb. Let me ask you this. Would you say that Jen was a good, Bootsy was a good Cure Team member?
Yes.
Why?
I think she was, you know, she was a junior member, I guess you could say, but she was trainable, she was energetic, she was, you know, willing to play. There's probably nothing she wouldn't have done. She would do the bumper stickers. She's like, she would listen to input. I think even now, as I talked to her, she said she would like to be involved again. I'm sure she would go through whatever she had to go through to get back into good standing or whatever. She seems interested in the material. Like she's on a mission. She knows it.
Well, what you're describing does sound like she would be a good Cure Team member. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the fact that Jen actually didn't do those things when she was on the Cure Team really may be just that I never asked her to, and or thought that, you know, it was important. And what really happened, it's kind of interesting to go back to Anna, is that when you came in here, remember when I originally was talking to you and I said, I got something you can do that will help you develop really great. And you can hand out bumper stickers, and you went, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And I sent you that movie. Remember?
Uh-huh.
Now, when you were talking to Alejandra, did you send her the movie?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Oh.
Didn't think of it.
Yeah. I was holding back a lot.
Would you say that that has something to do with your interests?
Probably.
Well, one thing, you just described yourself as holding back.
Yeah.
Wouldn't holding back cause you to drop on the scale of interests?
Yes, it would.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be as able to be interested in something. You wouldn't go at it full out. You would hold back. Like if Franny feels like she's being tested, she just isn't going to be as interested in, doing, like her mission. It's too scary, to do her mission. But the funny thing is, then Franny goes around. We all do this, by the way. Barb does it. Greg does it. We all do it. I do it. We don't feel like, we feel scared. Like it's going to be a test. People are going to see it. Me too. I get that too. But what we do is we sort of run around the outside and somehow we figure out how to make something happen. And I've seen Franny make miracles happen for this. Miracles. Because she, gets around the problem. She doesn't actually confront and cure the problem. She goes around it. So she still got the problem. What we're going to do on this cure team is we're going to not go around the problem. We are going to actually cure it. And you see, Jen didn't look like she needed to be developed, and you did. But what I found out when I started doing this with you was that everybody needed to be developed, and that I was in a virtual reality because I wanted to believe that people like Barb and Greg didn't need to be developed. They were there. They could just do it. Barb can talk to a potential ally, but the problem is, unless she develops herself to that point, she can't. Any more than any of the rest of us can. She'll just make some mistake, even if she goes and starts talking to the person. She'll either be like frozen, like Franny gets, or she'll make some mistake in the middle of it and won't quite know what it was, and it won't go the way she wanted it to go, and whatever. And so, it's better that you practice on this pregnant woman. So I'm not going to call this pregnant woman. And you are. Mm-hmm. You're going to stick with her. And so now the question is, what are you going to do with this person who she's getting signals, she's watched movies, she is trying to take this thing out of her spiral body. So why don't we play a role, you're her, I'm you.
Okay. Yeah, because there is kind of a major, a major thing in the way there.
What?
Well, she doesn't have internet access. She's doing it on her phone with cell towers, and she can't really see the videos very well. So that's a major hurdle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, let me go to I'm going to go to the outline.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. How do I get to this? Oh, wait a minute. That's what I have to do. Okay. I go to Facebook and Bookie Wookie, and I go to me, and I guess you all have your ways of getting to the outline. And I go to me, and here's my notes here. Right here, I got a note, my notesy wotsies.
got the notes right here.
Got your basic notes. And let me go to now this note. How to be an advocate for global cure. Now, okay, so she, obviously part 1 is under her belt, am I right? Of this outline. She's getting signals,
Yeah.
okay, actually you be her.
Okay.
Tell me something, when you get a signal here and there, do you feel any different?
Yeah, I feel really good.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
feel relaxed.
All right, so what we got to do is look at your next step. Okay, so number 1, you got to understand this is a cult.
Really?
Yes. And people have cured cancer and heart disease with what you're doing, so it's not just about herpes.
Wow. Great.
And there are just a little tiny handful of us all over the world. So now you're in the cult because you've cured things and felt different. Okay, so you're a cult member. Congratulations.
Oh, that's great.
Now if you stop curing things, you'll be out of the cult. So if you get nervous about being in the cult, just don't cure anything and you won't be in the cult anymore, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, our aim of the cult is for everybody on Earth to know they can cure things the way you're finding out you can. Yeah?
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Now, I was asking what you can do to support this, and it didn't look like you could do much because you don't even have internet access. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
And you don't have any money.
Right.
And where do you live?
In Texas.
Okay, where in Texas?
A small town.
Little tiny town in Texas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, you have like, 2.76 strikes against you. But you're also getting signals and curing things, so that is a big plus, right?
Right. And I'm determined.
Okay, cut. And I'm going to cut the role play. Now, what this is really about is part 3. This conversation is about part 3 of this outline with her. Okay, so what you're doing is creating confront in this woman. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the role play now. Now let me tell you what it seems to me like you can do for yourself. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Number 1 is you need to come to every meeting every Monday night. Like forever. Just be a regular. 2, I assume you have time, right?
I'm going to deliver my baby in early July, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's getting close.
Good for you. All right, well, okay, you see, you have a very tenuous connection with this cure. But what you can do is you can come to every meeting every night. You also need to get internet access because you're not going to be able to... can you access the web college on your phone?
Not very well.
I mean,
I can't see the 2 videos very well.
But you
on
can,
the homepage.
But you can see what's written there.
Yes, but I haven't joined up at this point.
You have to join.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do this without joining. You have to join. You know? Also, another thing, you're going to have to face that cure costs money. You know, cure, you need smartphones, like you need computers, whatever, you know. I mean, you may not donate a whole lot to the cure drive, but it's still going to cost money. There's just really no way around it. So, what I would suggest is you find somebody who will give you money. Like, rack your brains. Who's going to give you money to take care of this baby? To what? I mean, babies cost money. Are you on welfare? Go on it. If you're not, go on it. Do whatever you have to do. Just get money. You need money. Okay, cut. Now, what relevance does this have to the scale of interests? I'll tell you what I see about it. The relevance that it has is that you have to have a base before you can go higher. In other words, let's take the switching area. How could the switching area be a base? Well, you have to unswitch. Get it?
Okay.
This woman has to unswitch. And that means, like, she has to go up into the operating area and get money. Barb, here, let me just say to you, do you recall there have been a few times when I've talked to you and I've said, like, go make money, and do you remember saying to me, I don't want any money, I'm okay, I don't need any money? Remember this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what you were doing was actually simply refusing to operate. And until you're operational, you can't go up to function and be functional. And so you have to be, that's why I made that game with you, which you would never play, which was that every day you ask 20 people for money. Every day. And you take in at least $30 every day. And it's very easy to do that. You go to a stop sign with your bumper stickers and you walk down the line of cars and you count them. And after you've passed 20 cars, you have asked 20 people for money. It should only take 10 minutes and then you go about your business for the rest of the day. But if you don't take in $30 doing that, you still have to take in $30. And if you do that, that should be a dosage. It should be a dose of activity that would be sufficient to get you into and, grounded in the operating area and out of the switching area. And maybe if you do that, you would find you weren't as interested in some of the other things that distract you.
Right.
Like, for example, I tweeted tweets today, and there are two of them. I tweeted, look in the tweets, everybody, right now.
I
tweeted Barb's YouTube channel and Anna's YouTube channel. And Ross, Franny, Greg, and Barb and Anna, go into those tweets and compare the two channels. Now, Barb, let me ask you, about how many notices, how many places did you put your phone number on the web? Like 10, 50?
Maybe 15.
15. And Anna, about how many have you put there?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Put your number on, your phone number on the web, about in how many places on how YouTube movies?
Oh, how many?
20, 50?
Maybe 80.
80, okay. You can see why you get several, now you're starting to get like a couple of calls a day. You know? Some of them don't leave a message, right?
Some of them don't, but I call them right back, and I got a couple texts also.
Okay, great.
So.
Well, that's nice, isn't it? The texting isn't. I'm starting to love texting. It's so easy, you know. Like, why listen to a message from somebody when they can send you a text? You can send them a text. You can decide when you're going to be around. You can talk when it's convenient. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful, you know. So, okay. So, it's not rocket science. Now, if you look at Anna's and you look at Barb's, you can see the difference in their interests. Greg, what is Anna interested in, obviously, from her YouTube page? Greg? Greg, can you hear me?
I'm mute, sorry.
Okay.
I was looking at the page. Cure Drive and herpes particularly, just from the first page there.
So if I want to cure my herpes and I see something on a YouTube movie and I click on that little link that takes me to Anna's account, and what I see right there, first thing, is a person who has cured herpes and wants to help people cure herpes. And I feel comfortable calling this person. Now, what do I see when I click on Barb's YouTube account?
A variety of things, that some cultural, some healing, some religious, philosophical, political.
What I see is, first of all, I don't see what I'm looking for, because I'm looking for help with my herpes, so I don't see that. But what I do see is a person I might be a little scared of, you know. This person has a lot of friends, she has a lot of interest, she's, I don't know, like, is she going to like me? Is she going to be interested in me? I don't know, you know. I'm a little nervous about talking to her. So Anna's accessible, Barb, in a way that you're not.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about my YouTube channel much.
So, but anyway, if you want to practice with people on the phone, you've got to get everything off your YouTube channel, except. And by the way, I went. You did make some nice movies about herpes with Anna. And when I went there, I realized that you already had movies that I uploaded for you about curing things, and they were fine, and they're there, except nobody can see them because they're just so far down the page, and nobody ever scrolls down that far. And so I didn't upload any more movies. I just said, forget it, Barb's doing something else with her YouTube account. So if you want to, to have people talk to you, then you focus your YouTube account, and they will. You'll be talking to people on the phone and helping them cure things, and some of those people will end up, in money for you, which will put you into the operational area. And that's where you want to be, in the operating area, and that's where we want you to be on the cure team. See, even if you don't make your expenses, or on the other side, even if you don't need the money, we want you to make money. Like, Anna, I want you to make money handing out bumper stickers or whatever you're doing. I want to send you part of people's contributions when they sign up for things. Because when you take in that money, you know you're a minister. Like, it changes you. You feel it. So it doesn't matter that you don't need the money or that it's only $50 or something. It makes you official. And you can register yourself as a church in Grass Valley, like we did in Florida, and you can be a sub-church of us if you want, and you can you can write that as your affiliation if you want, if there's a place for that on that form. And you pay something to the county clerk and they register you, and then you can open a bank account. You can put your church money in your church bank account and keep it separate so that it doesn't get mixed up with your personal funds. But you can still use it to pay your ministerial expenses, whatever they are, including your car and your house and whatever. Because ministers get that. That's part of being a minister. You get a house and a car and all that stuff, and so you have a right to that. Okay, so but most ministers keep, books for their church and so on too. Or at least they have an account, that so they can sort of keep track of their money. And they also, sometimes the church has charge cards and so on, so they can keep track of their money that way too. That's what we have. We have, we use debit cards to keep track of our expenses. It all gets, recorded. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. We're talking about actually changing your interests. There's a term a lot of people use. It's called upgrading your interests. A lot of people say that. They say upgrading your interests. And if you upgrade your interests sufficiently, you actually can be interested in your mission, and then it starts to, like the fog goes away and you start to see what your mission is. Mm-hmm. Like I just said this the other day, and I don't know if anybody remembers it, because it's hard to listen to some of these things, but I was saying that there are a lot of dead people, because when Barb was sitting in front of Jane Fonda, and Jane Fonda asked her or she was standing, and Jane Fonda asked her, like, Barb, what is it you want? Barb didn't know what to say to her, or what her mission was, or anything. So she didn't say anything. And she asked her to put a bumper sticker on her car or something, I guess. And I think she even did, but so what? It didn't. Nothing came of it. And that's why, because you have to be at an interest level where something comes of it. Meaning, you have to be interested enough in your mission to be able to see your mission. Seeing your mission is very difficult. Speaking as someone who sees mine to some extent, I will tell you that it's very difficult. Because even though I see it, then I'm looking and I miss so much of it. And I miss what I'm supposed to do next and what I was supposed to do last week. And as I was just saying a little while ago, when I started training you, Anna, I realized everybody needs to, do the program in some way or other. Greg, you know what? It would be like a major breakthrough for you if you went out for 10 minutes and stood on a corner and handed out bumper stickers every day. It would just change you. Just like Anna's doing. Wouldn't hurt you. It would be very good for you.
I understand that. It's actually, I agree. I try to do that with people instead. I find times it's not the same thing as.
Well, maybe that's your program. Maybe doing it with people might be your program,
I've accessed so many people during the day.
If you have access to more people than Anna, maybe you can ask them to put bumper stickers on their cars instead of people on the highway.
I could stand on a corner. I'd have to get a permit, and I could do it like 1 or 2 days.
Well, for sure, when you are talking to people, you should be asking them to put bumper stickers on their cars, because that is the that's just a way people can support the Cure Drive.
I absolutely understand. It's not practical here. I'd either be arrested or...
No, I don't think you understood what I was just saying. I wasn't saying that you should stand on the highway.
Yeah, I know.
I was saying when you're with people...
Ask them to put a bumper sticker.
In whatever capacity. We had left the conversation about the highway. That's over. We're not talking about that anymore. We're just talking about how you do it with people, and so that would be good to do that with people. I'm just saying, okay?
Yeah, I could carry bumper stickers in my bag.
Or or have them in your car, whatever. Okay. So. It's just like something that, like this, as we do this, it just gets bigger. Like what it is to be interested keeps changing. It gets bigger. For me, and what I've been doing is every time I watch a YouTube movie now, I paste that comment on it. Whatever the movie is. And guess what? My phone's ringing. By the way, Anna, did you ever redo your message?
No, not yet.
And I remember I left you a message and told you have no message on your phone.
Yeah. I gotta make it sound more natural.
Or just put anything on there. It's okay.
Okay.
You know, it's okay just to put anything on there. You know, you may have to make many messages, you know, and with each one you will change and learn, and that's okay. But, you know, I'll tell you something else, by the way. With all the, like, you and I were both critical of your first message, but you know what I didn't actually say to you was that I think you were very accessible. It was one thing about you in your first message. You were obviously a very nice person who I felt comfortable talking to. And that means everything. So don't try to be perfect. Perfectionism is an immune dysfunction. Just make a message and leave it there and listen to it the next day and then make another one. Because, and you know what else? When on your, even on your little thing that you paste on people's movies, I was reading it, and you seem very accessible just from reading that. Like just Anna and your phone number seems accessible. Also, a lot of people are more comfortable with a woman, talking to a woman.
Yeah, that can be.
So see, what I'm actually like, I'm gonna like close this thing in like 4 minutes or something. So I'm trying to sum up here. And to sum up, what I would say is that, like when Franny talks about like it's not your thing or it's not your mission, or Greg does, you know, one of the things that got me on this warpath in the first place was when I was accessing about Franny being a nucleus, and that this, you know, I was accessing about missions that she's had down through the ages, and I discovered that I work for her and that her mission in this life is this. And that made me feel like this is what I should be doing because she's doing it. So that's really kind of funny to then have Franny feed back to me, well, this isn't my thing, you know, because I'm going, what do you mean it isn't your thing? You're the only reason I'm doing this. You know, it's like that's because this is your thing, you know.
Well, the form of it is yours.
Actually, not really. It's more like something that the form of it emerged, I think, is more to the real truth about it. It emerged over time. And what I was doing was like trying to like perceive what was emerging. Like when we decided to go on the internet and everything, it was like I was like looking and looking and looking, what should we be doing, you know? And that's what emerged. So that's all I can tell you about it. I don't think it's really that I didn't make it up. I am not conscious of having made this up. And nor do I think I'm smart enough or creative enough to have made it up. And also, like a lot of the breakthroughs came from people like Greg. Like what I was saying, like Greg is the person who actually started recording things like this. We were meeting with somebody on the phone to cure something, and he started a recording of it. And I realized this is what we should be doing, you know, because this has to be documented and it has to be accessible to people so they can use it.
That's what manifesting is.
That's right, I manifested, yes. I guess I was just in that moment, I had popped up into the manifesting area because I wasn't really up in the manifesting area a lot back then.
Well, you manifested Al getting it from the internet, you manifested Barb participating for years.
Yes, that's true. Those were actually sort of like bursts of manifesting. Like, I remember when I talked to Barb that night and you decided, Barb, to come to Philadelphia, and I was in this zone of manifesting. It was like this burst of manifesting. But then I dropped back on this scale of interests. And, you know, I've spent an awful lot of time in the operating area, which is why a lot of things have taken so horribly long. And, you know, on our cure team, I like to feel that I am in the functioning area a lot, and that in my relationship with all of you, I am getting support and empowerment in a way that I just couldn't let it in before, and giving, you know, ability and resources and gifts, and I feel more generous.
Well, I think manifesting comes from not having like this whole grand plan on how you're going to do stuff. You just have to kind of see what you're after and then work with what you manifest coming in.
Yeah, and what I'm after seems to be emerging into view as we all work together.
Well, I have to say that this particular meeting seems like somewhat of a breakthrough because it's not just playing the roles and trying to remotely learn what we should be doing, but it's more like we're discovering why we're at certain levels and how come we can't do this or we can't do that. And I think that's a good way of training people.
Yes. So the summary of it is this, that sometimes we're like people who've been in a nuclear war, where like everything is devastated and we're sitting there and we're not interested in anything, and we have no idea what to do. And that is, see, the fact is about the whole thing about this scale of interests, the real question is, what are you able to be interested in? Like, how much ability to be interested have you got? The issue isn't what are you interested in and maybe I should be doing something else. The issue is, how able am I to be interested in, you know, what we're doing on the Cure team? And most people aren't even able enough to even start the Cure team. Almost nobody we meet is qualified to be on the Cure team. But we seem to be qualified. The people on this call seem to be qualified for now. And if we can upgrade ourselves from here, then we will be solidly qualified to be on the Cure team. So that's the purpose of the meeting, is to show you how, or try to intimate or how to upgrade yourself.
Well, it's not only how, but this is the kind of activity I like, because it's showing people the way without trying to tell them exactly how to do it. And it's like, you know, if you want people to feed themselves, you don't feed them, you teach them how to feed themselves. Something like that. It's just, you're doing something different this time, which I like. And it isn't as scary, for one thing.
Well, you know why it's not as scary to me anyway? Because, see, if I look at this list and I realize that, well, you know, maybe I'm just not able to be up in the manifesting area all the time, and I'm not in control, I don't have enough control, you know, to do that. And it just is easier for me, you know, to like accept myself and realize, okay, well, I'm here, you know, I'm at function, you know, and maybe if I create some beauty and some spiritual growth, I'll float up into the manifesting area, because those are at the high end of the functioning area. So why don't I try that for a few, you know, for 20 minutes, you know, I'll just try to create some beauty, some spiritual growth, you know. And I tell you, Franny and Greg both do a lot with their family, and that puts you in the functioning area. Like remember when I was saying that you were helping your brother, and I said to you, you know, this is really good what you're doing with your brother.
Yeah.
Because you were functional.
Yes, definitely.
You know? And so that was, I felt that, and also I think you were having fun helping your brother.
It reminded me of being like a kid with him again.
Right.
Because that's sort of how we left our relationship.
It was good for you. That's right. It was good for you. So, with that, anything else anybody wants to say before we get complete here?
This was good. I think it's revolutionary, as Franny said.
That was good, thanks. My YouTube channel. Everything is good.
Okay. All right.
I just redid the whole thing while we were sitting here.
Oh, good. Well, guys, use the scale. I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
I'm on the 144th dimension.
Scale right now.
I'm on the 144th dimension.